This training covers Chapter 11 on infant menu record keeping. This training is presented by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs, also known as ODE-CMP. In this training, we will cover the individual daily infant menu requirement, other menu requirements, the ODE-CMP daily infant menu record templates, required supporting documentation, and common errors. Once you complete this training, we hope you will understand the individual daily menu record requirements for infants and that you will comprehend what is required on the menu and what supporting records must be saved. First, let's cover the individual daily infant menu requirement. Sponsors must maintain individual daily infant menus for each infant for each meal and snack claimed for reimbursement. Infants require individual menus since there are large variances in infant diets. Some infants receive breast milk and others receive infant formula. In addition, some infants are ready for solid foods earlier or later than others. This leads to a wide variety of food items that are served to each individual, and having individual daily infant menus help to ensure that records are complete for all food items served. This record keeping helps ODE-CMP verify that all meals served meets infant meal pattern requirements. What is required for infant menus? The daily infant menu records must include the infant's name, their date of birth, the menu date or dates if you are putting multiple days on one record, the type of meal or snack that was served, the name of the formula or breast milk that was provided, all additional food items that was served with the actual food items served listed on the menu. For example, if you serve cereal or yogurt, make sure to include the name of the cereal and the flavor of the yogurt. And finally, the menu must include a PS notation if a food item was supplied by the parent or guardian. ODE-CMP has developed a daily infant menu record template, and there are two versions, a 0 to 5 month and a 6 to 11 month. Sponsors are required to use the ODE-CMP template since our template includes all required components. ODE-CMP has also created an infant menu record instructions handout that helps sponsors to understand how to fill out the templates. There may be situations where ODE's template does not work for your organization. In these situations, submit a copy of your template to your assigned child nutrition specialist, who will be able to review the template and approve it if it meets all requirements. We can take a little closer look at the 0 to 5 month infant menu template. At the top right, you see that there is space for the date to be entered. Below that, there's space for the meals and snacks to be entered. To the left of the template, you will enter the infant name, their birth date, and the name of the formula that's served to them. There is space for 5 infants, or you can use the same menu for 1 infant for 5 meal service days. The column currently outlined in blue includes checkoff boxes with B for breast milk or F for formula. Check off the item served to the infant once it has been served for the meal or snack. Once meals or snacks have been fully provided, a trained staff should check off boxes outlined in purple if a complete meal was served to the infant. At the bottom of the template, there's a spot to help with consolidating all meals and snacks for the infant each day or by week. Here's a sample infant menu record that's been filled out. The dates have been included, and since this record is for 1 infant for multiple days, all dates of service are listed. The meals served to the infant are listed at the top of the table. The name of the infant along with their birth date is included. Since the infant receives breast milk, the formula section can be entered with NA or left blank. In this example, the infant's name is entered in all rows, but if the menu is only being used for 1 infant, sponsors can draw a line down the column to indicate that all rows will include information for 1 infant. Boxes are checked off under the breast milk or formula columns. Keep in mind that breast milk is assumed to be parent-provided and does not require a PS notation. Once all components have been provided to an infant for the meal or snack, meals can be checked off under the complete meal or complete snack columns if a complete reimbursable meal or snack was served. The consolidation section at the bottom of the menu can then be completed with the final tally for the week. This is a completed menu for a 0 to 5 month infant. In this situation, no solid foods were provided, which is okay since this is not a required component for infants younger than 6 months. The column for solid foods indicate that it is optional. Now let's look at the infant menu template for 6 to 11 months. It looks very similar to the 0 to 5 month template, but has a few more columns to reflect the required solid components for developmentally ready infants. The date is also at the top right, and the meals and snacks served are at the top of the table. Same as the other template, there's space for up to 5 infants, or the template can be used for 1 infant over 5 days. The columns in blue are for all required components, including breast milk or formula, grains or meat alternates, and vegetables or fruits. Meals and snacks can be checked off once the full meal or snack has been provided. And there's also a place to total and consolidate the meal and snack counts at the bottom of the end of the day or week. Here's another sample menu, this time for 6 to 11-month-old infants. This example includes meals and snacks for 1 day only for multiple infants. The meals and snacks are listed at the top of the table like the other example. All the infant names are listed in the column to the left along with their birth dates and if they receive formula, the name of the formula they receive. The meal components they received are checked off or filled in for the items they receive. Note that for the second child, Chidi, there is PS marked for the formula for all meals and snacks and for the fruits received for breakfast and lunch. The complete meal and complete snack columns are checked off appropriately. Note that Chidi's breakfast and lunch are not checked as complete since the parents provided 2 components. For more information on parent-provided components and what meals are reimbursable, check out the Infant Meal Pattern Overview training. The consolidation section at the bottom can be completed once all meals and snacks have been totaled up. It's time for a quick knowledge check. Michael is the assistant director at a very good childcare center and does not want to use ODE CMP's daily infant menu templates. What should he do? Should he email his template to ODE CMP for approval before using it? Use an infant menu template from another state agency? Download a template he found on the internet? Or create and start using his own template right away? And the answer is A. Email his template to ODE CMP for approval before using it. ODE requires approval of infant menu templates to ensure that sponsors have a comprehensive template that will cover all infant menu requirements before it is put into use. Not getting approval may result in missing documentation, which can be costly. In addition to a daily infant menu, there are supporting documentation that is required for certain food items to show that the food items meet CCFP meal pattern requirements. Additional supporting documentation is required for infant formula, breakfast cereals, yogurt, tofu, commercially prepared combination foods, and medical accommodations. If infants are missing solid components during the 6 to 11 month period, additional documentation may be useful to show that the infant meal pattern was met. The supporting documentation for infant formula is simple. Sponsors should keep the packaging showing the name of the formula, along with the nutrition facts label that shows the formula meets the 1 milligram of iron per 100 calories iron enrichment requirement. Keeping the full packaging will help reviewers verify that the product was FDA approved. For breakfast cereals, sponsors will need to keep the nutrition facts labels showing that the sugar limit of no more than 6 grams of added sugar per dry ounce is not exceeded. On the screen, you can see an example of a cereal with the serving size and added sugar section outlined in red. Sometimes cereal labels do not have the name of the cereal right next to the nutrition facts label. In these situations, it may be helpful to label the nutrition facts label or save the rest of the cereal packaging so you can keep track of all cereals served. Similarly, yogurt will also require a nutrition facts label to be kept. For yogurt, the label will need to show that no more than 12 grams of added sugar per 6 ounces of yogurt was not exceeded. Since yogurts have many flavors with different sugar content, make sure to keep all nutrition facts label for all flavors served to show that all yogurts served met sugar limit requirements. Soy yogurt is also now allowed as a creditable yogurt as long as it meets the same sugar limit requirement. Tofu is now creditable for the infant meal pattern, and if serving tofu to infants, make sure to keep the nutrition facts label showing that there is at least 5 grams of protein per 2.2 ounce weight, and the ingredient list showing the basic ingredients are whole soybean, one or more food-grade coagulants, this will typically be a salt or acid, and water only. If there are additional ingredients, the product may be considered a combination processed food. For tofu, the serving size may vary widely and lists weights in grams or ounces. Sponsors may have to complete some calculations first to figure out if the tofu meet protein requirements. Keep in mind that 1 ounce is equal to approximately 28.3 grams. Commercially prepared combination foods, also known as processed combination foods, will also require some additional supporting documentation. Commercially prepared combination foods are foods that include 2 or more meal components, or foods that include creditable and non-creditable ingredients. These food items require additional supporting documentation because it is often not obvious how much of the product is required to credit for each portion served. Commercially prepared combination foods include certain baby foods that have a mix of ingredients, for example, a baby food with both meat and meat alternates and vegetables. Some of the packaged baby foods out there include a crediting statement on their label showing how the ingredients credit towards CACFP meal pattern components. Sponsors can save this crediting statement to show crediting. If there isn't a crediting statement, sponsors can request a product formulation statement or a child nutrition label, which may be available for some products. While most baby foods will not have this type of supporting documentation, these may be available for items that are also served in the child or adult meal pattern, such as fish sticks or chicken patties. For more information on these supporting documentation, check out the Chapter 10 Supporting Documentation training. Here is an example of a crediting statement from a baby food packaging. This product states that each tub has 2.5 tablespoons of cooked grains and 1.5 teaspoons of turkey. On occasion, you may have infants who are unable to be served a meal that meets infant meal pattern requirements. Infants that have medical accommodations that do not meet meal pattern will require a completed medical statement on file, which is signed by a licensed healthcare professional or a registered dietitian. In the infant meal pattern, often the meal pattern cannot be met because the infant requires an infant formula that is not iron fortified or FDA exempt. The medical statement template is shown on the right side of the screen. For more information on this topic, refer to the Meeting Meal Accommodations training for more information. Sometimes you might have an infant who is not ready for solid foods for a long while after 6 months of age, or the infant might have started on solid foods but needed to stop either some or all solid foods due to rashes, choking concerns, or other concerns from the parent or guardian that do not rise to the level of a medical accommodation. In these situations, sponsors and providers must accommodate these needs and stop serving the noted solids since the safety of the infant is the primary concern. Although the meals may have missing meal components, the infant meal pattern flexibility means that the infant is not developmentally ready for those specific solid foods, and meals can be reimbursed. It is best practice for sponsors and providers to document the conversation with the parent or guardian and include in the documentation the date of the conversation, the name of the infant, and the solid foods that are affected. For example, in some situations, the parents may want all fruits to be off limit due to a reaction, or no citrus foods only due to a rash. And finally, make sure that it includes whether there is a time limit for the restriction. Often with setbacks for solid foods, the parents may be waiting for infants to develop a little more and then are able to reintroduce the foods again. In all cases, documentation helps sponsors and providers to ensure that infants are only fed safe foods in addition to justifying any missing solid meal components. For sponsors who operate childcare licensed sites, additional infant feeding documentation may be required, and sponsors must follow all licensing requirements. There are some common errors when it comes to maintaining infant menus. The most costly error is when sponsors do not use individual infant menus. Since infants have a variety of needs, not having individual infant menus can result in infant meals being disallowed, since there is not an accurate record of all meals and snacks provided to infants. In addition, not documenting the infant formula provided or forgetting to write down the solid food items that were served to infants can result in menu documentation that is missing meal components. Not documenting parent-provided items on the menu is also an issue, as is not having required supporting documentation. Let's do one more knowledge check. Michael, our assistant director, has ordered jarred combination baby food with turkey and sweet potato for infants at the center. For the baby food to be credited towards the meat alternate, and vegetables and fruits components, what supporting documentation will need to be saved? Is it nutrition facts labels, ingredient lists, product formulation statements or crediting statements on the baby food packaging, or an image of the packaging on the jar? And the answer is C, a product formulation statement or a crediting statement on the baby food packaging. Not all baby food packaging will have a crediting statement. So, if there is not one available, make sure to request a product formulation statement from the manufacturer and have it on file before serving the products to the infants in your care. Sponsors must know how to credit the product before serving it as part of a reimbursable meal. In this training, we covered the requirement to have individual daily infant menus, what is required on the menus, using the ODE CMP daily infant menu record templates, which supporting documentation must be saved, and some common errors. ODE supports equity and excellence for every learner. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you for taking this training.